Welcome back to Patch Notice. I'm your host, Jackie. We're now living in the era of the 2-week patch cycle for Deadlock, so August 1st is the start of a new timeline for the game. Up first and foremost, a gigantic change is the return of Viscous, a hero that some thought might have been left behind after the move from Neon Prime into Deadlock, but the gooey big boy makes his return. With some slight changes to the remnants of what was left over of Viscous that you could previously find by spawning him in through console commands, he's had a couple of updates. Namely, a few of his abilities have changed. You can see on screen here what his abilities look like and how they work. The healing cube returns and can be used on multiple characters, enemies, or yourself or allies alike. He also has an uppercut punch called the Puddle Punch as his free, which will allow you to knock enemy players out of the way, forcing them into towers or forcing yourself to higher ground with its momentum. It's a pretty cool ability set that he's got, and he's very strong right now in the current meta. Viscous feels like a character that's going to be able to do a ton of damage with its spirit scaling, definitely something you should keep your eyes on. The pros and cons though are the gameplay style. Very different from any other hero that we've got in the game right now. On screen is his ultimate, which has some very unique interactions, allowing you to hold mouse 1 to go faster. He ricochets off of walls, bouncing him in all sorts of different directions. You can use ziplines when in this goo mode, and also cube yourself. So there's some cool ways to play Viscous, and it's definitely worth testing him out. A fantastic new addition to the game, much like the reworked build system that's been brought in. They've completely overhauled how builds work in the 1st of August patch. Unfortunately, any builds that you would have previously had have been entirely nuked. Valve did say that there's going to be a console command that will print out your older builds, so if you need to get them back, that's something that's coming in a nearby patch. For now though, play around with it. There's a great guide on the Discord that was made by Blank to explain the new ways that you can use it, as it is a little bit finicky. Matchmaking has had some changes as well, with NA servers being moved to the middle of the country to provide better ping across the board, and had its start and end times reduced by an hour for playtesting. Oceania has now also got servers, so good day to our Aussie friends that will be coming in. There's also been one change to hero roster requirements. You no longer need to choose 4 champions, you can now choose 3 and be able to queue. Here's the important changes that have been made to the minimap that was shown off in some really nice ways in the patch notes. Feels like Valve have taken a bit of inspiration from Patch Notice. That was cool to see. You can see here they've updated the minimap to work similarly to how it does in Counter-Strike when you're playing a map like Nuke or Vertigo, allowing you to see when a player is underneath the map, fading out or in the above or lower layers, and the new teleporter locations that will be indicated. They've also made some changes to Sandbox, adding an Orbs spawner. Now this is important because souls have been completely changed. Now in Deadlock, when you kill an enemy candle trooper, souls will spawn in one of 3 directions randomly: left, right, or upwards. So it's not as easy as pre-firing on the head of the killed candle trooper anymore. Get used to that, play around with it. It's throwing some players off right now, and it seems to be the talk of the town with the update. They've also added a patrolling dummy for you to practice your tracing, which is a cool addition as well. The Cosmic Veil had had some minor changes done in the way that it responds to your camera placement, so it now should be slightly more accurate to where your character is in terms of looking through veils. On the Wraith timeline, let's have a look at a new zipline animation as well. Pretty damn elegant actually. This one's had a bit of a jazzing up inside of the patch and looks quite cool. Lash also got some new visuals for Ground Strike, and alongside that they fixed some bugs to do with Lash as well. Multiple smaller bug fixes were bundled in inside of this update. You can see Valve took a lot of time to add in new vehicles, new locations, and later on in the video we'll show you just what they've overhauled, as Purple Lane and Yellow Lane have undergone some gigantic changes. Let's get those under the microscope and see exactly what they've done. Here you can see how Purple Lane used to look on the Sapphire side pre-patch. As you remember, it had the usual walker up ahead by the bridge with the back alley area that would take you round to where the jazz music would always play from the building with the neutral farm behind there. However, after tonight's update, these areas have undergone mass overhauls and are almost unrecognizable. On screen now is the updated version. As you can see, some areas have been blocked off, doorways have been moved, entire portions of the map have been repositioned and remodeled, like here. The new Walker location, adding it in a more central area along the zipline with different verticality behind and around and new tunnels for you to navigate through. A lot was changed in both of these lanes. Here again you can see on screen with the yellow lane how much Valve have gone in depth in redesigning these areas to give them a whole load of new flavour. Yellow is similar to what we saw with purple, with the updates to verticality, new tunnels, new areas, all sorts of changes. These videos give you a good sense of the overall adjustments that were made with the pre and post patch footage, but I'd really recommend loading up the map in street test and feeling it out for yourself. So much was updated inside of tonight's update, and there's an awful lot of new things to wrap your head around. With the new yellow, you can see how the back area by the iron mill has been completely remodeled, trees have been replaced with the new smokestack prop, different areas have been cut off and redesigned, alongside removing some of the alleyway smoke trails that were previously blocking vision, providing for entire new ways to play around the map design. There's new angles, new points to fight from, and it gives you a lot more depth to the actual combat in these areas from my testing. There was quite a few bugs that came along with the update, but Valve have already been dropping hotfixes, and Yoshi has been very active on the Discord and on the forums, alerting people to what they've already notified themselves of realizing needs to be fixed. So if you spot any bugs, be sure to report those and make sure that they're aware. This is what I was talking about with the alleyway updates. The smokes that would previously block these areas and provide a shroud of vision are now gone, so you can see straight down them, alongside some slight remodeling to all different areas across the map. The mid teleporter has been entirely replaced. It's now redundant with the changes to teleporters that we'll get into a little bit later, so it's been opened up into a pathway straight down towards mid and a quicker access route to the mid boss. Now, this is something that's actually been applied across the map. The purple Juke Closet has also had this updated. This is mirrored on either end of the map, providing quick access tunnels that you can use to get down to the lower level teleporters, and other teleporters have been completely remodeled as well, providing you new points of teleportation across the map. There was a nice graph that was indicated inside of the patch notes that we'll get under the microscope and show off just what they've changed there. Here's the new smokestack prop that I was talking about that has replaced quite a few of the trees in various areas of the map. Valve have also gone ahead and deforested a lot of areas, removing trees that were previously blocking LOS near walkers on orange and I believe blue lane as well. This is a big portion of the update for me as well. The new contextual lean that has been added. Valve said that they updated the system to be a little bit more intelligent with the way this works. Each hero has its own unique lean animation. I'm showing you a handful of them on screen here, but as you can see, where previously, as long as your eye line would allow you to shoot round the corner, it was a bit disjointed with where your actual model was standing. Now, every character will slightly lean round the side of the corner. It's a bit more exaggerated on some rather than others. You can see here, it does look a little bit wild with a lean back that gets pulled out, but it is a really cool change. One of those that I think will actually go ahead to improve the visual feedback of gameplay when playing Deadlock in the coming months. A nice adjustment, and one that I hope to see Valve continue to tweak smaller features in this manner to provide a one-to-one feeling of gameplay and visual feedback. On Abrams, you can see how his body adjusts to give him that little lean around the corner when he's taking firefights, making it easier for you to shoot out and fight enemies, but for them to also take shots back at you. Here's the new teleporter locations indicated by the lovely graph that was shared by Yoshi inside of the patch notes. You can see the numbers indicate what locations will teleport you to what locations, with both of the warehouses in respective lanes now being repurposed for new teleporter hotspots, and one teleporter in both of the subways linking you to either side of the map. They also fixed taking damage not stopping you from teleporting, so that's something to be aware of. Here's the meat and potatoes of the patch for me though. These on screen now are some of the bigger changes. Each trooper you shoot at will now consider you a higher priority, meaning they will be pulled off of the Guardians and Walkers and start shooting at you. The laser DPS from Walkers will also now do increased damage onto troopers, and parrying a Guardian attack is no longer possible, so you can't get those quick combos off. Also, the Patron will now be more aggressive, move faster, and does more damage when the shrines are destroyed. Weakened Patron HP regen has also been buffed, alongside the out of combat delay that's been reduced from 30 to 20 seconds. Alongside those major gameplay updates, Rejuve's bonus of 75% reduced respawn time has now been changed to 50%, making Rejuve nowhere near as obnoxious, with mid-boss also getting a buff to its overall HP. You'll also notice there's a lot of things that I haven't covered in tonight's patch notice. Item changes, hero changes, and some of the smaller bug fixes. That's because of the amazing response to mine and Blank's coverage in patch notice on the road. We're going to bring back that format and start a podcast called Dead Air. So if you'd like to see Dead Air podcast, that'll be coming out regularly from now on. Links will be down below. Otherwise, thank you so much for tuning into Patch Notice. Hope to see you soon. I'm back home now, so expect regular content coming your way. Until then, get back out there.